Right, we've got a few people still trickling in. There's Wheeler for the 10th time. Let's see if he gets in this time. There's Conrad and Henry. All right. I think that about gets to who I think is coming tonight. So we will get started. As always, when we're on one of these Zoom call things, just if you have a question, just unmute yourself and interrupt. It's not a problem. We want to make sure everybody gets the information they need. Tonight's meeting is going to be pretty brief. That'll leave some time at the end for questions if anybody really has something in depth. But tonight we are going to be talking about uh, our weights of our pigs and the rate of gain and then what that means. We're going to be talking a little bit about your buyer's letters and ways to sell your pig. Conrad and Henry, go ahead and mute, please. Thank you. We're going to talk about buyer's letters, and I'm going to show you Emily's for this year. She's very excited about it. And we'll talk about some ways that you can make money. And I'll also talk to you guys a little bit about some of the common questions that the buyers have when you talk to them. And then we're going to talk a little bit about spring show prep. This is partly for some of the parents that are maybe skulking, but for you guys as well. And have some notice about things to work on for that. We have, a little bit over a month and a half till we're going to be showing these critters, so can't wait too long. So, rate of gain. Now, your rate of gain for your pig is a term in pig world of how much weight your pig is gaining, and it's usually discussed as a per day item. You can pigs typically will, especially in this age where they are right now, pigs typically will have a pretty linear ratio of food to pig grow. Okay. And that number is what's called feed efficiency. Okay. And this is also a good trivia question. We're going to talk about our showmanship trivia next time, but this is a common one as well. What is a pig's feed efficiency? And what that means is for every pound of food that you feed a pig when it's in its growing stage, how much pig do you tend to get out of that? And pigs have a tendency to do about a 3-to-1 ratio of food to pig until they get to their full size of about 300 pounds. And then it really tails off. They won't grow much larger, but they can get fatter after their full size, kind of like humans. So in their age right now of 120 to 175 pounds or so, that the various pigs in our project, they're going to be eating about 4 to 6 pounds of food a day, and they should convert that to 1.5 to 2 pounds of pig per day. And it should be a pretty straight line on your graph as you weigh your pigs. This is why it's really important to weigh your pig often and have a scale at your barn where you can weigh the pigs uh, at least once a week, because otherwise there's really no point in doing it at all. Doing one weight now and then thinking you're fine and then waiting a month to do it again, you really could miss a problem brewing. Okay. Now, when we want to know this information so that we can track kind of where our pig is going to go for its weight, and that's what's called fair weight, so the weight that it's going to be when we check it into the fair. Right as soon as you drop off your pig, it comes off the trailer and goes right onto a scale the minute it gets there. And on the scale is where they'll check the ear tag and the notches and the pictures. So uh, we use our average daily rate of gain, and then we use its weight as of today to predict what we think it's probably going to weigh when we get it there. And this will tell us too if we have a problem of being overweight. Okay. So one example would be Emily's pig, Jersey, the cool name. Emily always picks cool names. We weighed her pig on February 27th. So that was 9 days ago, and it weighed 124 pounds. We just weighed it a couple hours ago, and it weighed 141 pounds. So in 9 days, it gained 17 pounds, give or take. Now, the pig weights are not always perfect because, they could have a pound of mud on them. They could be not standing on the scale perfectly or whatever. So we want to really try to get a good number. Maybe weigh the pig twice while you have it there. And then what we do is we take the 17 pounds of difference between 124 pounds and 141 pounds, and we divide that out by the number of days. And this pig gained 1.92 pounds per day. So I'll call that 2. So then we can go ahead and look at the date of our fair, which you're going to be weighing the pigs on April 30th, on Thursday, April 30th. And I asked Google how many days away that is, and it says it's 53 days away. So we can take his average daily rate of gain of 2, times that by 53 days. And if everything goes as planned, he will gain 106 more pounds between now and then, leading to a fair weight of around 256 pounds. Now, what can cause a pig to not gain weight in a predictable fashion? So there's several things. A drastic change in the weather can put your pigs off of their feed for several days. And then so you could have several days where the pig doesn't gain at all or just gains like half of that. If they get sick, and they're sick for, a few days, a week, 2 weeks, and they're just not eating as much, they will not gain as much as you'd like. They could have a physical problem inside their body inside their body that you don't know about, such as just like, oh, I have, bad intestines or some physical problem. They could have worms, which is why we worm our pigs and we monitor their poops to make sure we don't see a worm sign. And this is also another reason why we want to weigh our pigs more often than you otherwise think you should, is because then you can kind of catch these issues before they linger for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. Emily and I are just going to be planning to weigh our pigs every Sunday for the next 6 weeks until fair, just to keep on top of things. And it doesn't take long if you get your scale set up in a good spot. I think Emily and I took about 5 minutes to weigh her pig when she was walking it today. So a lot of times people will ask me, what do you do if my pig is too skinny or too fat? Okay. So there's a couple things you can do to get a pig to holding a pig, which is what we call it when we have it on a diet so it doesn't gain as much. Right now, when your pig is 150, 175 pounds, is about the only time that you can really responsibly hold your pig down a little bit. And we can get your rate of gain to under a pound per day without having your pig be all sad and angry and not feeling good. Okay. And there's lots of ways to do that. Mainly, it centers on just giving them a lot of filler in their diet instead of purely feed. For a skinny pig that's just not eating right, the only way you can get around that is to get them to eat what they are going to eat if they were eating their food properly. So the only way to hold or push a pig for those of us that are doing free feeding out of a hopper is to stop free feeding out of a hopper and feed your pigs in the morning and at nighttime. If you choose to go that route, I can definitely teach you how to do that. If any of you guys that are worried about your pigs being too big, it takes 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night to make out feed pans and watch your pigs eat and do everything else. Most of the time in a group setting, um, like Conrad and Henry and Natalia and the Briscoes, most of the time the pig is either just a lazy pig and is just not eating, or it has some physical problem leading to it not getting as big. The So if you are worried about your pig, we can definitely talk about that. It's not something that can be done without a little bit of time invested on your part. So we typically we spend a lot of time concentrating on buying pigs that are the right size to start with, and that is really the key to getting a pig to the fair at 275 instead of 325 or less. So buyer's letters. I've gotten several of the buyer's letters. Thank you, Sean and Hannah. I just got yours. I haven't had time to read them yet. And I got Henry and Conrad's, and I got Emily's, and I got a bunch of other kids text me and email me saying, "Oh shucks, I didn't get it done. I will." The main thrust of a buyer's letter is to introduce your um, friends, family, your parents, coworkers, your neighbors to what you're doing and who you are. So I like to say that there's the four W's and an H in our buyer's letter, which is who, what, when, where, how, and why. There we go. So who? So you got your name on your thing. Hi, I'm Emily Wilcox, and I am a junior in high school at Davis Senior High, and I'm in West Plainfield 4-H. And then the what? I am currently raising a pig for the West Plainfield Market Swine Project, and I'm having a lot of fun. Where are you? And the where will include that we're going to be doing Yolo County Spring Show, that it's in Woodland, California, and that you will be, you have your pig at a friend's house. How? The how is what you're doing. You want to give them a little bit of information about what the pig project is. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? What does it mean? What does it really mean to have a pig? When did you get your pig? How long do you have to spend each day working with it? Everything else. Okay. And then the why. The why is, why am I doing pig? So the answers are, I do it for fun. I'm doing it for, I'm doing it for money. That's a totally perfect thing to say to people. I want to buy a car when I'm 16. I want to pay for college. I want to go to Disneyland. People appreciate the fact that you have a goal and that you are thinking about what you're going to do with your money. We don't like to say things like buy an Xbox or buy silly things, because old farts like me really don't respond well to that. So think more, big items that adults would respond to. Okay. You want to include a picture, hopefully, of yourself with your pig. Emily's, she did one of those half zoom pictures of Jersey the pig, which you guys are all think are hilarious right now, and so we're going to send that as well. This is Emily's. As of right now. So she talks about what kind of pig she has. She has a Hampshire Barrow, and his name is Jersey. Where she bought it, how big he is currently. So currently he's 141 pounds now because we just weighed him today. We'll change that. And then you want to get to your dates. So this year's spring show is May 1st through 3rd. So it's really important to get a letter out now so people can put this on their calendar and show up to your show. They can buy your animal without being there, but it makes it a lot more work. And you want them to come and see. Once they get emotionally invested with your pig, with your project, they're more apt to come and spend their money. Um, you definitely want to include your parents' email or contact information. So there's my email on Emily's right there. Um, because people will have a lot of questions about what it means to buy a pig. Okay. We're going to talk about that a little bit now. Um, and then you want to send these out. Your mom and dad can print out 20 of them, buy you a book of stamps at Safeway when they buy groceries. And then you want to put these in the mail. Okay. I know it's tempting to just have mom and dad do a social media, but people appreciate getting mail and they see that as a huge effort on your part because it's old fashioned. Okay. So a nice get an envelope out. Your parents can print out the envelopes or print out labels for all I care. Nobody cares. Just sign your letters and get them out. And if you send 10 letters, send 10. If you can't send 100, send 10. And it really works. The other thing you can do is go to businesses that you and your family frequently go to. A good example of this is your parents' auto mechanic, a contractor. Maybe your parents have had worked on the house, business associates of your parents that you have kind of, a little bit from just life. Um, you can go just cold to businesses like car dealerships, larger things like Nugget. If your parents go to Nugget for their groceries, the feed store where you buy your feed, which I buy all my stuff at Higbee's, and I have my kid's phone number in their computer for the discount, so they know who I am. Um, and you can also just go around just cold and just walk. My son Austin, who none of you guys have really met, he got a pig buyer from. We were driving around, and he said, "I'm going to go to that car dealership." We walked into the car dealership over by Taco Bell, South Davis, and he found some lady that was the manager randomly and gave her a letter and introduced himself and shook her hand. And she sent a guy to come buy his pig for taking 5 minutes to just be brave and go in to talk to somebody. So that works really well too. One of the things Emily did not do in her letter this year, which we're gonna be making a little change, is that you should send these letters to family and friends that live far away and that are not going to buy your pig. So you're going to spend 50 cents on a stamp and send Aunt Aunt Susan in Vermont your letter because she will feel bad that you sent her a letter and she can't buy a pig because she's in Vermont. If you say, "I'm also accepting donations to put against the cost of raising my animal, and my parents' Venmo is this," I would love any small donation to help cover the costs of feed and supplies. And you will get donations from random people, and it works. And very few kids actually take advantage of this. But I've had kids get two, three, four, $500 over the course of a few weeks of doing this, and it really works. And would you look at your profit against what you paid for your pig, what you paid for feed and medicine and everything else versus what you're going to sell your pig for, getting an extra $100, an extra $200 is a big bump in your money for doing absolutely nothing more than you're already going to do. So uh, all you have to do is just because everybody that gets this letter, if they can't come to Woodland or they don't live close enough to have your parents buy the pig for them, is going to go, "Oh man, I feel terrible. I can't help. Conrad, look at his cute letter." And they love the crowdfunding. It really works. Okay. So one of the main questions that you're going to be asked by people when you talk to them about your pig project is, "How do I buy a pig? What does that look like? I've never bought an animal before. This is weird. Do I have to take it home? Do I have to pay somebody to come kill it and then butcher it? And where do I go for that? Who's the butcher?" And on and on and on. Most people have never done this before. So it's totally fine to think about these questions ahead of time and have answers ready. You want to have answers ready. So when they come to the auction, they'll get an auction number that they waive to buy the animal, and then as soon as that animal goes off the auction block, you as the 4-H'er are done with it. You physically are not allowed once it goes across the auction block. It now belongs to the person who bought it, and you are physically not allowed to ever interact with that animal again. It doesn't go back to the pen. It doesn't, you don't walk off with it. You want to do all your hugs and stuff ahead of time. It goes to a big pen full of other pigs and hangs out for the day. Um, so when they buy your animal, they will your information will go to with the pigs to the butcher, and then a few days later, or the next day, or the day after, the butcher will call that person and ask them how they want their pig prepared, and they've got a whole sheet that they do of how they want the bacon, and do you want sausage or not, and do you want pork chops, all kinds of questions. And then that person answers those questions. And then a few weeks later, once the bacon is done and everything else, the butcher will call and say, your pig is ready. And your pig, the meat will be cut and wrapped and vacuum sealed and frozen, just like they would buy it at a butcher shop, into whatever portions they ask the butcher to make it. And then they pick it up and take it home. One of the most common questions is, can I split the pig with somebody else? And this is a really, really, really common thing. So at least probably half of the people who buy the pigs every year are buying it with somebody else. I bought a pig last year from some random kid, and I shared it with a neighbor. And I always just go pick it up, and then I lay it all out on my kitchen table, and I put half of it in one box and half of it in the other, and I go take him this pig, and he pays me for half. It's very common. If you have a friend and two of them say that, the easiest thing to do is just have your parents buy the pig and manage the money between these two people, and then go pick up the pig from the butcher and deliver it to your buyers with a thank you note, and be and that little amount of facilitation really works wonders to get people off of their couch and into buying mode, because it's kind of a lot of unknowns. So if you just say, "Oh, just buy the pig, I'll pick it up for you. Me and my mom we'll go pick it up and we'll bring it to your house." They go, "Oh, that's cool. Okay, that sounds great," and then they'll buy the pig. So, summing up buyer's letters, the most important thing is not how perfect it is; it's that you get it out, that you do it. Okay, it doesn't have to be as long as Emily's, as long as you cover those who, what, when, where, how, and why. Okay. Um, it definitely can be really important. It's a sad thing to be standing on the auction and not see anybody that you know in the crowd because you didn't take an hour and write a letter. And it's nothing that, and you'll make significantly less money on your animal if you hope that some random person in the crowd will take pity on you and buy it. Significantly less money. So uh, think about it from that side of things. We all want that money. We want the Xbox or whatever we're going to buy. So this is how you do the work of getting it. All right. Any questions so far? All right. So spring show is 53 days away. Okay. So that is, I know that sounds like a long time, but it really is not. There's a few things that you need to either already have or buy before spring show to make a successful weekend. One is going to be however you're going to feed your animal in its pen. Okay. The pen that Frankie is standing in that picture is what your pen looks like at show. And there usually is one pig per pen. Okay. And so you need to have something to feed your pig in. So the black rubber tubs that they sell at Higbee's is perfectly fine. I prefer a fence mounted one because it lowers the amount of pig spilling food everywhere and making a mess. They sell they sell what you see there, the white one, all over the place as well. And then you just use a scrap of fencing to zip tie it to the wall of your pen. I will have a waterer for your pig. I have like 15 of them already. I got to make a few more, but we'll have waterers all set. Don't worry about that. For your food, we will have like one pen, maybe two, like the size Frankie's standing in to store stuff in. Okay. But it gets to be quite a mess if 25 kids are trying to each bring a bag of food in to the show. Um, so think a little bit about how you want to do that. A lot of kids will just measure out the pig's food in a Ziploc bag every day and bring it. Uh, a lot of kids, will just leave a bag in their parents' car, going back and forth. The other thing that you need to think about, and for the moms and dads on the call, is what we call whites. So the outfit uh, that Lucy and Frankie are wearing in this picture of white jeans and a white button-down shirt is what you will show your pig in. Okay, so the white jeans and white button-down shirt can be any white jeans and white button-down shirt that you can line up. The ladies usually wear the scarf like Lucy has on, and the boys usually wear the tie, but they are both allowed to, you can wear it whichever one you like. Um, don't wait until the Wednesday of spring show to go try to find white jeans. Um, this is one place that Amazon pays off. You can order 6 pairs and return 5 if they don't fit, but don't wait until the last minute to think about this. Um, it's one of these things like you see it everywhere until you try to go buy one and then everybody's out. So if you wait till the last minute, you can definitely be a little bit hosed. The other thing that is something to think about for spring show prep for some of our newer parents, if you're listening in, is that it's traditional, not required, traditional to have a small gift for the buyer at spring show at the auction. And so this has been everything from a dozen cookies that the kids make for the person to a little gift basket with barbecue sauce and a West Plainfield swine hat or a anything of that. It does not have to be elaborate. It does not have to be expensive. It is just a token of appreciation for that person. So start thinking about that as well. One of the things I wanted to share with you guys too is your parents have this in an email, is this spreadsheet. Okay. I sent it around several times. And what this will allow you to do, as long as you don't mess with the math in the cells, is put in your weights and then the date you did the weight, and then the spreadsheet will do the math on how many days that was, how many days are left, and what you need to get. I have a target of 275 pounds on here, but that's just really arbitrary. And what you need to get in weight to get to that many pounds by April 30th. Okay. So this makes it really easy to track your weighings and then the difference between each time you weigh your pig and what that will work out to in your pig when it gets to show. So that's just another little tool that you guys can use, and your parents all got this, and then they would just make a copy of it and change the names and whatever else. But okay, that's 30 minutes of me talking. So do you guys have any questions so far? Either everybody's asleep or I did a good job.
Oh, wait, when should we send out the buyer's letters?
ASAP.
Okay.
So, I mean, it doesn't have to be, you don't need to send it out in January when but, think about your family and your life, how far out your parents are booking your life up, and everybody that you're trying to sell your pig for too is doing the same. So if you get out, 5 or 8 this week, that'd be great. And then you don't have to wait till you have 60 of them figured out. Like Emily usually sends out 20, and
Wait, sorry.
but
Wait, do you have to look at it before we send it, or does it?
no, you can. Um, I'd love to look at it for you, and I'd be happy to give you feedback. But if
Okay.
it's not required, you can, just
Okay.
kind of follow the template, and it should be written by um, you. Do not. Uh, it should not sound like um, your dad, a CPA, wrote it, Adelina. You know what I mean? It should sound like
What? Like
I.
a million of these. That's crazy.
Good. So, but I'm
Wow.
saying, but don't let your parents. Your parents should proofread it
You should say
for.
this to Matthias, Carson.
Oh, okay. Well, you were
Hey.
talking. I don't. I'm just. So your parents should look at it and proofread it a little bit to make sure you have the dates right and you have the email right. But it should sound like you. It should not
Okay.
be a letter uh, from mom and dad because the people you're going to sell this to are thinking about you walking a pig and not, even though your parents are doing stuff for you too, and not. Um, so it should sound like you for yeah. So um, yeah, I'd be happy to look at it if you want, but
Okay.
don't let that be the stopping point to getting it turned in.
Okay.
Any other questions? Cool. All right. So I told you we're going to keep this short because everybody's got a life. Um, I will in this next week or two. If anybody wants additional help with walking pigs or showmanship, just reach out to me. You all have my phone number. Text your parents and me at the same time. It's like a 4-H rule thing, and just say, "Hey, I need help with walking my pig," and I will meet you at your pen, and we can spend 20 minutes going over what you got going on and what you need to do. It's not a problem. Um, it's it's my preferred way of doing it. For those of you who need help, do not wait. Do not feel bad about reaching out. It's totally fine. So I did some showmanship stuff when I tagged some of you guys as pigs last month, and that's cool. And we can fully do it more or again, especially like all the newer kids. So Matthias and Conrad and Henry and Savannah and who else is new on here? And like Rex isn't on here, but he's new as well, and Micah, and so uh, it's totally fine. We used to try to have big showmanship meetings and be like 2 hours at somebody's barn, but it just doesn't work. So I would much rather just come and walk pig with you and try to help you that way. So if you want that, just shoot me a text or an email, and we can get it figured out. My work schedule is pretty low key these next couple of weeks, so I'm happy to do that. Um, yeah. So hopefully you guys got some good information tonight about your pig size and its prospects for show, and then talking a little bit about marketing your pig. Remember, this is a market swine project, so it's not just about growing a pig. It's about learning about pigs so that you can sell that pig to somebody who's never bought a pig before. So that's a huge part um, of this project, and I think it's really useful later on. Learning to be able to just walk up to somebody and talk to them is seems scary at first, but once you've done it a couple times, uh, it's not. I'm also going to be sharing around all the names and addresses of anybody who bought an animal from West Plainfield last year, and I'm working on getting the whole list. And when I send that to your parents, I suggest that they should look at it and see if anybody they know bought an animal last year, and make sure that you hit them up. A lot of people buy an animal one year and then never hear again from another person, and they'll show up to the spring show to buy an animal, and they'll come find me and say, you know, oh, I bought Elise's pig last year, and I never got. I'm not talking to you, Elise. I'm just you're the name that's on the top of my list right now. And I never even got a buyer letter. And I'm like, well, there's a lease standing right there. So that's not good. So a lot of people buy animals and then get ignored the next year. And that those people who have bought in the past literally are the best people to hit up. So if your parents will print them out and give stamps, you can fire buyer's letters to all 300 people on there. It's totally fine. But I wouldn't do that. I would just, you're going to find 10 or 20 people that your parents know in that list. So I would go from there. So if you guys have any other questions, once you start talking to people about buying an animal, it is totally okay to say, I don't know the answer to that. I will get you an answer for that question. And I'll get back to you. So, because people ask random stuff all the time. So it's okay to say you don't know. Just say you don't know and um, ask your parents or ask me or both, and then we will get you that info, and then you can go back to that person and say, what's up? One of the main questions is that people usually ask is, what does the pig cost? So last year, the average of a pig was right around $2,000, $2,500 for the whole pig, and then you add the cost for butchering, which is usually like $300 to that, and then there's some fees and stuff too. So I usually say $2,500 is a nice round number. Um, so we had pigs go from 1900 last year to from 1300 a thousand to 3000. So, but I would say the average, I would say $2,200, $2,300 is probably the average. Um, and then, if there's also a little bit of a question about part of it could be tax deductible. Some people do that, some people don't. So there's that. I think this video recorded as well. So I'll go ahead and share that link with you guys. I'll put it on YouTube or something like that. And then you can have your parents watch this back if they have questions too. Um, so we're going to finish up if you have questions about showmanship and you need help on showmanship, do not hesitate to reach out. It is not a big deal for me to spend 20 minutes at your barn. If you have questions about buyer's letters, reach out. I can send you 30 examples to go for. And I'll have in your email these next couple of days the West Plainfield list, and then I'm going to try to find the whole list of buyers that you guys can use to send letters. So anybody has questions, hit me up later on. It is not a problem at all. I love to send email, what I do all day, every day. So with that, I
Hey
will say,
Carson, I have a
yes,
question. I don't know how to
go,
raise my hand. I don't know how
go
to.
ahead.
Um, this is a new thing for the spring show to have the feeders, for us to buy our own feeders.
Well, it's just because I don't have enough. So I'm just asking everybody if they've got a black pan, to bring it.
But do we
Uh,
also bring something that attaches to the fence?
that's those are the two options.
Oh, two
So
options. Okay, great.
you
Thank
could
you.
the I think the hanging one is better, and your kids will have less cleanup to do if they buy that. If you're gonna buy one, I would definitely go that route. If you already have the black pans, totally fine. But
Okay, great. Thank
yeah.
you for clarifying. I was about to order a bunch of those hanging feeders, but
So no, if you have the black pans, those are totally cool. I have half a dozen of them at the porter's house, and we use those. But it's just a matter of it's messier. It's like, imagine a toddler gets a bowl that they can throw on the floor versus the one that suction cups to their high chair. That's the
thank you.
same concept. So yeah, cool. All right, you guys. Thank you. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Don't forget daylight savings time. Otherwise, you'll be late to school tomorrow.
Thank you, Carson.
Okay, guys. Good night.